Hi everybody, it's Donna Evans, Regional Vice President and Independent Consultant with Arbonne, and I'm joined by my lovely friend Jo, who I'm going to introduce in a second. But really I just want to say this video is all about a controversial topic called soy. So a lot of people have got questions around soy and they've heard bad things, etc. So we just want to put everyone straight on the group so that you have a good understanding of soy, and also so it opens up your mind to seeing what foods you can eat. So Jo, hi darling.
Hello.
Tell all of your credentials. Why don't you do it?
Okay, so hi everyone. So thank you for joining. So my name is Carey and I'm a vegan clinical nutritional therapist. And I studied 5 years in human nutrition, and also, well, it took me 5 years because I had 2 babies while I was doing it. It would have been 4. So I have a human nutrition degree and a biochemistry degree. So basically, I'm super qualified and basically qualified to ascertain and treat illness and symptoms and disease on a whole food plant base. So I look at people's biochemistry from hormones, saliva, and support illness and ongoing age onset illness with veganism. And we know that whole food plant based is masses of nutritional science research to indicate that it does reverse the aging process and alleviate these inflammatory diseases. So that's what I do, and I'm a passionate vegan and an ethical vegan for over 40 years. And yeah, so I'd love to share my knowledge with you.
Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, and so I met Jo through Arbonne, just to give a bit of background, and I was actually doing a talk on veganism, and Jo came up so pleased that someone was talking about veganism, and then we connected. And I've learned so much from Jo, and we now go into schools and we educate kids on veganism and animal rights. So that's kind of where we fit in together, and Jo is just such a source of all knowledge on our group. She's incredible, and her passion is to help people transition to that vegan lifestyle, so for many reasons. So Jo, something that comes up all the time is soy. So we thought we'd do this video rather than to always have to answer questions. So what is your opinion on soy?
Okay, so soy really gets a bad press. If we take it back to the basics, the humble soybean is the most profound plant protein apart from hemp and the pea protein, but it's a complete protein. So essentially the soybean in its organic form is so nutrient dense. Now what the problem is that there's 2 forms of soy. So as soon as we think of soy, we think, oh my God, my thyroid, too much estrogen, and all these contraindications. So the first thing I want to talk about is genetically modified soy. Now, this is in the form of soya minces, sausages, and all your fake meats. Now, they are basically man-made. So the humble soybean gets into a process and gets added loads of additives and then eventually becomes basically carcinogenic, very high estrogen dominance, and also not good for you because it's got a lot of heavy metals in. So the genetically modified forms of soy are the ones you want to actually don't go near, because they are basically do create a lot of estrogen dominance, and they may be carcinogenic. So you want to avoid those at all costs. So all your cheap fake meats, your soy mince, your cheap soy milks, sausages, bars, and things like that, and your frankfurter sort of things and the burgers. Now, when we think of the other forms of soya, which is our beautiful fermented soya, and that is our organic fermented tofu, tempeh, miso, tamari. Now, that in essence is the soybean and its pure organic form. And when we say fermented, it is, so for example, 1 bottle of tamari sauce has something like 300 plus soybeans in, and the fermentation makes the nutrients more profound. So when we think of the nutrients in fermented soya, the 2 compounds in it are genistein and dastein, which have been shown in clinical trials to reduce tumor growths, reduce menopausal symptoms, alleviate any kind of mutations of cells. Now, the Japanese have the lowest incidence of ovarian, cervical, prostate cancer, and menopause is unheard of out there because of their high intake of fermented soya. So it's a fabulous food. I've eaten it for years, and when I went through my menopause, I blinked and it was gone. I don't think I had a couple of hot sweats and that was it. And that's due to my high level of phytoestrogens, which are in these fabulous fermented soya. So move away from the genetically modified. You do not want that. You want the fermented forms, which are absolutely amazingly nutritious.
Yeah, brilliant. Love it. And that's the thing. When soy started to get bad press, it was actually, just for those of you who don't know, it was actually the dairy industry that put that out
Yeah.
there, because probably now about, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, when soya milk started to get popular, the dairy industry saw it as a threat. And of course, they've got big marketing power. And so they started to badmouth soy. And
Yeah.
that's the reason why everyone's like, soy's bad, soy's bad. And it absolutely isn't. I mean, I'm drinking organic soy milk at the moment. So that's the
Yeah.
thing. If you're going for organic, that's okay, isn't it, Joe? Soy milk.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you're buying, you know, you could go into the supermarket and buy long life soy milk. Don't touch that. That would be genetically modified. Spend a little bit more money and buy an organic form. Then you've got the fermented soya in there. Plus also you'll have added B12, magnesium, and you won't have added sugars and chemicals and phosphates and preservatives. So you want to spend a little bit more money and have that. But it is really, truly a superfood. I mean, as I said, it's a complete protein. So it gives you all the 8 essential aminos, plus your branch chain aminos, which in essence what that means is fabulous for, you know, muscle repair and also neurotransmitters, hormones and all sorts. So it really is a superfood. And I get really frustrated when people say to me, oh, I can't eat soy, I'll get moobs,
I know, I do too. I get annoyed with it as well.
I know. And you get, when I put gym guys on plant proteins and they're like, oh my gosh, I guess you will not be getting moobs. Oh, goodness sake, you know, and then they realize how much better it is for them. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. So just before we finish on the topic of soy, what and that's really why we say to, on the 30 days to healthy living plan, to not have soy sauce. We say to have tamari instead, isn't it? Because it's likely to automatically
and also soy sauce loaded with gluten and also a lot of salt, whereas tamari is gluten, salt, yeast, wheat free, and it's so nutritious. And then even better, miso is made from fermented soybeans, very concentrated, and you know, you can cook your food in it, make soups out of it, stir fry your veg in it, all sorts. You know, I make hot drinks out of it, and it's so nutritious.
I love miso soup. It's my favorite.
Yeah. Lovely.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to talk about soy? I think you've covered everything there.
Yeah, just you know, aim to have 40 grams of fermented soy every day. So that would be half a block of tofu, you know, half a block of tempeh, also edamame beans, which are in essence soya beans. Get them in your food, stir fry them, put them in your soups. I blend them up in my food smoothies and all sorts. I sort of stir fry them in tamari, and then I eat them cold during the day. So aim to get, because you've got all the soluble fibre in that as well. So so try and get at least 40 grams per day serving of phytoestrogens in the form of fermented soy.
I need to up mine. I don't have enough. Now you've just said that. But I hope you don't mind me saying, but I want to tell people how old you are, because that shows you know what you're bloody saying.
Yeah. 54 nearly. I'll be 54 in 5 weeks, and I'm really proud of that. Is that I don't shy away from my age, because for me, what I've achieved, as in my health and well-being, and I love to share it with everyone, because at the end of the day, so many of my female patients get really anxious about the aging process, but you don't need to be, because you can modulate everything in your body with good nutrition. And the aging process is to be rejoiced, because, you know, gosh, you know, so if you look after yourself, you age well. And it's not about being like it's not about being totally line free. It's your internal environment, aging free of disease and thriving with energy. And that's what veganism does.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. Thank you so much, darling. That's absolutely brilliant. And I hope that was useful, everybody. But thanks, darling.
Okay, bye. Thank you.